One of the hardest shows for us to do, one of the hardest podcasts for us to come upon because of what just happened some days ago. Like, it's still very sour in our mouths, but we're trying to do our job. This is what we signed up for as sport journalists, sport reporters. Uh, you can see what we are doing. Solomon and John Objetunde.
You are a Nigerian.
Yes.
And an Arsenal fan.
Yes.
And you are complaining.
Yes.
What of those who are Nigerians and they are Chelsea fans?
Like who?
Like me now.
Okay.
Who lost on both occasions?
Where is it? Double wahala for them.
And then also, we've got another presenter right there from Morocco. He's been there since the start of the AFCON. No matter how bad you are feeling, I'm sure Tunde is not feeling very good because he is this close to all of the action. Tunde, probably you should take us through your feeling from the game up until now.
Yeah. Hi guys. Glad to be back on the show. You have hit the nail on the head. I'm not feeling great, even physically, because this is I'm exhausted. The game ended. The game ended around 2-1. We left the stadium around past 2, got in around 3 a.m. So it's a physically very exhausting job to cover the Super Eagles. But even emotionally, it's very anticlimactic when you play well the entire tournament and get to the semi-final and that happens. The referee, the performance was not great from the team, but then the referee also did his own. And the atmosphere, I kind of had a feeling that we're not going to win, because AFCON tends to favor host teams that are good. If you are a host team and you are good, they will help you. It's the hosts that are not good that don't have any reason to cheat. But the ones that are actually good, so it was always going to be hard. And the kind of noise, even if they didn't cheat, like the atmosphere in that stadium. The kind of noise. When he went to penalty, I was positive we're not going to win penalty. There's no, I wasn't surviving people were scoring. There's no way I can score. If I take 10 penalties in that condition, I'll not score one, even with empty nets. The kind of noise that they were making when the Nigerian steps up to play penalty, it was in God's hands. So it was not to be. That's what it is. So I feel bad, but it is what it is.
These are professionals who have played at different grounds. Yesterday, the commentator was mentioning from Nwabali, who's played in South Africa, all the way to Osai Samuel, Shemi Ajayi, Calvin Bassey. They played at grounds like this. This shouldn't be a first.
No, it's not. Like we need to. They've played at high level football, but it doesn't mean that something like that will not affect. Also, if you really examine it might be a first for a lot of them. If you go to like at club level now, they say at club level, say Osimhen, for example, plays the Intercontinental Derby, Fenerbahce versus Galatasaray. Yes, if you play away at Fenerbahce, it will be an hostile environment, but your fans will still be there. There will still be a balance somewhat. If you play the North London Derby, for example, Tottenham fans will still be in the stadium. I'm sure the Arsenal fans will be more than them. Watching the game on TV, will not see any Nigerians.
Yes,
because even in the stadium,
we are looking for you. We saw you.
In the stadium, it was a sea of red. The Nigerians that were coming in, they were giving ultimatum. You either drop your flag outside and enter, or you hold your flag and stay outside. The people that sat, the supporters club were supposed to sit together. They scattered them. They bought their tickets was following each other. They were supposed to sit together. They scattered them around the stadium. It was systemic. There was nothing support there. No, I can assure you that none of these players have played in a stadium where 100% of everybody there's against you. There's nobody that has experienced that day in that team. It was ridiculous. So when you lose on penalties again, I typically don't even like blaming players for missing penalties, because I don't think anybody is trying to miss a penalty. It's just penalties is a game of chance at the end of the day. So those are the factors for me. I have to move on.
Wilfred Ndidi couldn't play that game. didn't really show. Some of us felt the balance in the midfield was a bit shaking. Rafael Oyedika couldn't really cut it like Wilfred Ndidi. Yes, we know the referee, the game was off our hand, but Wilfred Ndidi's role in that scene didn't really make an impact on the results.
Of course he did. He did. And I hope that this is the game that shows everybody that you cannot continue disrespecting Wilfred Ndidi because he's not a sexy footballer. He is an important part of this team. He's an important part of this team. It showed, but it was also not why we lost. Because if Morocco beat us in open play now, you say yes, that's why we lost. But indeed, he would have been there to win some more balls that Oyedika did not win. He would have made less mistakes than Oyedika did. But Oyedika's mistakes also did not cost us the game. So ultimately, what cost us the game, in my opinion, even before I blame referee or atmosphere or anything, the most important reason we did not win that game for me was that Morocco did their own work, which is why I tried to give them credit. The way Morocco played that game, it is clear Morocco have not played like this all tournament. It is clear that they studied Nigeria. It was not even about attacking. They didn't necessarily attack well, but they made sure to stop Nigeria from using the ball to do anything.
Playing their ball, yes.
Anytime he would be at the ball, there were 2 to 3 people charging him at the same time. They were making sure that we could not build up. They were attacking our defenders. They knew what we were doing. They highlighted Jemi Ajayi as the weak point in defense. Anytime Jemi Ajayi had the ball, 2 people activate on him immediately. So Jemi is under pressure. We can't really build up the ball the way we build up the entire tournament. We just have to keep ballooning it away because these people are constantly pressing. So the kind of energy that took, the energy that it required to press like that for 120 minutes, because they never stopped, the kind of homework that you needed to have done over, because the last there was a 3 days gap between games. So over 3 days, they really did their own work and they executed to perfection. So I would say tactically, Walid Regragui outcoached Eric Shell. That's the first reason Nigeria lost.
So, Eric Shaw, you just mentioned.
That's the next question.
Did you have anything, your takeaway, your reservation? Do you think he had his fault in this game, or this is just a host nation doing their homework properly, needing the 12th man, to back them? And then, like we all have agreed, the referee had a hand. Do you think Eric Shaw had his own blame in this too?
I think Eric Shaw coached a fantastic tournament, so I don't want to be too harsh on him. But at the end of the day, in the context of the game, just keeping it with the game, you have to say that he did not react quickly enough to what was going on the pitch. I don't know whether it's a lack of trust of the players on the bench or whether it was just overwhelmed by the occasion, because we also have to admit that this is the biggest game that Eric has ever coached in his life. He had never been to the AFCON semi-final up until this moment. So as a manager and even probably as a player, this was the highest level of Eric Shell's career. So maybe he was overwhelmed by the moment. Maybe he was overwhelmed by the circumstances because he did not react. That's what I will blame him for. Yes, you've come in with your shape that has worked the entire tournament, but Morocco basically neutralize that shape and that tactic in the first half, and you still come into the second half with that exact same shape. It was clear that Rafael Oyedika could not be at the base of the diamond, could not be the holding midfielder that he used to be. What I would have done, of course, it's easier to coach without the pressure, but what I would have done is to swap Onyedika and Onyeka. Let Onyeka be the holder. Let Onyedika actually advance the ball for us. He moves the ball better than anybody else in that midfield. Find a way to free Iwobi from the press. That game yesterday needed Samuel Chukwueze to be on the pitch to play, not to play penalty. Samuel Chukwueze is not a penalty expert. Why would you wait until the 120th minute to then bring in Samuel Chukwueze specifically to play penalties? That made no sense to me. If you are going to, that game needed people that would dribble and force Morocco to commit fouls. So you see, we had a little bit of relief when Moses Simon came in. There was a little, even though that one too is not. Yeah, we'll talk about it another game. But like You could see when he came in the blitz, we had a little bit of an outlet. We could pass the ball to him and he would just push it and run, and they will either foul or will create something out of it. So we needed Chukwueze to do something like that on the opposite wing. It was clear that Morocco did their own work on Lookman.
Yes.
Look, they made sure Lookman could not receive the ball in tight spaces where he likes to receive it. So basically telling Lookman, you either go and receive it wide or you go outside of this pitch. The coach needs to react to that and say, I'm moving you wide or I'm taking you off. You are not effective in this role because these people they already know what you are trying to do. So he didn't react for me. The fact that he even made only 2 subs before the 120th minutes shows that he didn't trust what he had on the bench. Lots of people were saying maybe someone like Tochukwu Nadi could have made his debut. I don't agree with that. I don't think you should be making a debut under those circumstances. I think it would have been unfair on the young man. But I would say there were some more seasoned players that could have gotten an opportunity to play that game. I already mentioned Chukwueze. Moses Simon came off the bench. Fisayo Dele Bashiru coming off the bench to play right wing. I don't understand it. So these are some of the mistakes that he's made already in this tournament. He did it against Tanzania and we criticized it. Why Dele Bashiru is not a right winger? Why do you keep doing this? So I don't know why he would do it again in the semi-final against Morocco. So I don't want to blame him, but I have to point out where he also went wrong. It's a learning curve for everybody. But again, I'm not throwing the baby out to the bathwater. I think he's still a good manager, and I think that he just made some mistakes.
Still talking about the coaching and also the tactical aspect of the game. Yes, we all agree that the Moroccan coach was technically and tactically superior in terms of tactics in that game. And so my question would be, do you think that we should stick with Isreal going forward because of this crop of players that is worked? Because you know that a lot of them are still pretty young, and I feel that with this crop of players, I feel that they still have a lot of years out of them in the Super Eagles. So do you think that we should stick with this manager going forward, or you think that maybe it's time for the NFF to reconsider another manager to work with this group, considering the fact that maybe a chair might not just be that manager that will take us to the next level?
That's a great question. That's the question that everybody else had in the press conference. He was asked this question about 3 times in the press conference after the game, and he just kept saying he would have to talk to the NFF president to find out what his future is. But for now, he's the coach of Nigeria, and maybe if they ask him to leave in 3 days, he will leave. But he's going to continue doing his job until they ask him to leave. Maybe I think it would be a foolish mistake to ask him to leave. He clearly has something going with this team. Within a year, he's been in the job for a year, and we are already playing some of the best football we've seen Nigeria play in the last 30 years. Me, I've been alive for that period, so that's what I can speak to. Maybe people like Solomon.
30 years.
He said 30 years. I don't understand.
Are you okay?
People like Solomon and Kenny that watch the Green Eagles in the.
Does he know when
No, did you watch year 2000? 2004? Go on.
Telling the ages. If you heard the English that I spoke, because I know that your public school education is not sufficient. If you heard the English that I spoke, I did not say that I watched for 30 years. I said that I've been alive for that period, so I want to speak for the period in which I was alive in.
You're drunk.
This is the best. This is the best football. This is the best football that we've played in the last 3 decades, in my opinion. We've not struggled to the way. That's why a lot of people fell back in love with this team. By the time we did not qualify for the World Cup, a lot of people were out of it with Nigeria. Nobody cared about the Super Eagles anymore. People did not care about us going into this AFCON. But the performances that we've seen at this AFCON really, really restored national pride and made lots of people want to support this team again. I think it would be a mistake to sack Isreal now. He's built camaraderie with the team. He's built a lot of trust with a lot of the players, and he seems to have a good tactical head. He just needs to cut out a little bit of mistakes, but he seems to know what he's doing tactically. So if you sack him, knowing our limited budget as a federation and the nonsense that full around, who are we going to bring? So I think it's an unnecessary unnecessary thing to sack Eric Shea at this moment in time.
Before I yield to Solomon, probably he's got a question. Can you take us through what really happened with Victor Osimhen? 2 minutes to the end of the game, is our talisman, is the captain. Influence cannot be short talked about. Being taken off at that time. Yes, we saw a bit of a worry, injured, and all of that, but we know what he brings to the table. An half-legged Osimhen, he's way better than some players because his stature alone scares, the defense. What really happened? Because Nigerians are calling it on Osimhen, some are calling it on Eric Shea, some are saying, there is a whole lot of talk. You were close. What really happened?
To be honest, not everybody had the same question in the stadium. Like, it's 2 minutes to the end of the game, bro. Like, we would need Osimhen for penalties, if anything. I think I would much rather have Osimhen without legs. Osimhen on a wheelchair playing penalty ahead of fully fit Samuel Chukwueze.
No, true. You're not lying.
At least it will be Osimhen that missed it, not Samuel Chukwueze. So that decision was very baffling. And again, Eric Shea was asked the question in the press conference, but he chose to respond in French. So,
nice one.
I really don't know. I can only assume that the wear and tear on Osimhen was getting too much because he was taken down a few times. So maybe he really could not continue because I doubt that Osimhen is the kind of player that would want to come out just before the penalties. So if he could continue, I think he would have insisted to stay. So I'm going to give coach benefit of that and say maybe Osimhen really could not continue. And the Osimhen sub was not even bad. Paul Onuachu came on, and you see how Onuachu took his penalty, very confident, no issues. Well, it's the Chukwueze sub that will continue to go back to. Why?
For penalties, why? Why was that?
When he made the choice, everybody was confused. You did not use it the entire game, and you are bringing him on for penalties. Then also, if you are doing that, why does he and Bruno Yemachi, why do they take penalties ahead of Ademola Lookman, who was even a designated penalty taker at the time for his club at Atalanta? Those decisions were strange to me. I can only assume that the players themselves passed up the task, talking about the pressure. Maybe they felt the pressure. Iwobi, for example, should have taken a penalty yesterday. He did not. Lookman should definitely have taken a penalty. He did not. Look at someone like Calvin Bassey that took a penalty against DR Congo in the last shootout and missed. What did he do? He stayed away from this one. So when we talk about this player, and we say because they play in Europe, they should be used to this environment. The pressure was worse than anything I've ever. I'm sure you guys edit through the TV too.
Yeah, we did. Definitely.
So like, it's enough. It's enough to distract anybody, bro.
Okay, today is off to Casablanca now for the third place. Are you envisaging?
Who tell you that? Who tell you say off to Casablanca?
No, the Super Eagles.
Super Eagles will be playing in Casablanca for the third place.
I heard you out. That's why I heard you.
Okay. Should we be expecting changes in the starting lineup? Because this is the final game of the tournament. I think we should be expecting changes.
Do you even think they want to play the third place?
You expect rotation. I don't expect 100% rotation, even though that's what I would do. Mostly because I don't respect Egypt as a football team. They are not good in my opinion. But Egypt also beat us in the pre-AFCON friendly that we played in Cairo. So I expect him to rotate. I would say someone like maybe Ndidi will return to the team, but I think Onyedika should maintain his place in the team. Bring in Fisa Adele-Bashir from the start. Give at least one of the new boys a chance. Play Tochukwu Nadi. Let us actually see if he would have made an impact in the semis. Play Tochukwu Nadi at the base of the midfield. I want to see how this team can hold down. But again, Eric Shea wants to end the tournament on a positive note and pick up a bronze medal. And even say, as Nigerians, you know that bronze is our own gold. they play that third place match with an energy and Asian. So I expect that we'll beat Egypt on Saturday in the third place game. So just a little bit of rotation here and there. Maybe bring back Zaidu into the team and ahead of Bruno. You can maybe give Uzo a chance in goal, rotate here and there, but not the entire squad. Not the entire squad. You can keep Lookman, you can keep Osimhen, let them try and get top scorer. They will knock Egypt 2 goals. So that's what I'll be expecting to see on Saturday.
Okay, let's talk about the final. Of course, we're not involved, but it's a huge final already. For me, on paper and the way they've handled their games, I think Senegal is one technical team that they do enough for each game. Now they'll be playing the host nation with the kind of vociferous atmosphere, the way the Moroccans have stepped up in every game. What kind of final are you expecting?
The kind of final that CAF wanted, really. It's a final of two huge teams, and these are the only two teams that were based in one city and one stadium for the entire tournament. So it also shows that that stability helps. Senegal played all their games in Tangier, in the Tangier Stadium. Although now for the final they will have to move to Rabat to play the final in Rabat. But Morocco as well played all their games in Rabat. They did not move. They played at the Stade Moulay the last time. That's the national stadium. That's their home stadium. So they did not move away from there. So those kind of factors might come into play in the final, which is that it is Morocco's home. First of all, it is Morocco's home stadium. Second of all, there are lots of Senegalese in Morocco, so maybe the outnumbering will not be as bad as the Nigerian own was. But again, now we'll see tickets buy go enter stadium. I'm telling you guys that the tickets for this AFCON, a lot of the games that you see empty stadiums, the tickets are actually sold out. The issues that's what CAF has to correct. CAF has to step in and stop bulk buying. Especially the Algeria game, nobody could buy tickets. People were outside begging for tickets, willing to pay ×4, ×5 of the normal price. Nobody could buy tickets because some people have already bought the tickets way before the tournament even started because they want to resell it. So, and I'm going to assume that for the final, that Moroccans have already bought tickets in mass, expecting to make the final. So I don't expect to see a lot of Senegalese in the stadium, even though there are, of course, Senegalese people in Morocco. What I think FIFA should do is adopt a more European system, which is ticket. You sell a ticket normally, but also allocate tickets to the federation, not the ones that the federation will share to their babes, because the tickets that the NFF will get, now their babes go collect them, now their cousins go collect them, not those ones. So that's not what I'm talking about. Allocate tickets. Say, okay, this is a 60-something thousand capacity stadium. We are selling 30,000. We are giving 15,000 to the federation. The federation will pay for it. So CAF did not short, but it is you that will now have to, or tell us how many fans you can account for that are coming, blah blah blah. So then pay for it and then go and sell it to your own fans. If that can be a system that works to ensure that there is balanced representation in the stadium for all the countries participating. Because especially in the final, I don't think anybody wants to watch a final and see, like from a neutral perspective, and just see 100% Morocco support in the stadium. What kind of final is that? Even in the semi-final, it didn't feel fair. Yes, you are the host nation, but should you have 100% support? You guys were in the Ivory Coast, and I'm sure the Ivory Coast was also a hostile environment. That final, I'm sure it was very, very hostile. But watching on TV, it looked like we could still see Nigerians now. But you guys were in the stadium, so tell us, there were Nigerians in the stadium at least, right?
They couldn't wear their jerseys. It was almost the same thing.
It's either you want to enter the stadium, take off your Nigerian jersey and wear something orange, or you don't enter.
It was mad. Like, we saw Nigerians who were whispering to us after they knew that we were Nigerians, that you can see us wearing the Cote d'Ivoire jersey, they were support. Because I don't know how it is, hostility outside and inside the stadium for the Cote d'Ivoire game, the final. there was pure hostility. Like they were ready to be violent with you because you're coming here to support Nigeria. And I think that's part of home advantage. The only place we don't see it is when we come, if Nigeria is hosting, we want to form good people.
That's what CAF needs to cut out. I will give Morocco credit for one thing, which is that their hostility, in my opinion, did not extend outside the pitch. Before the game started, all the fans, we were outside with the fans, we talked with a lot of fans. We were bantering normal, we'll beat you, Nigeria 1, Morocco 2, Nigeria 2, Morocco 1, blah, blah, Osimhen will score. Blah. Yeah, it's when you get on the pitch that nobody is smiling with you, they are booing your players. But off the pitch, I never really felt like they were going to start fighting or beating.
We never led. If we had led, probably we see a different side of their fans.
But he's right. We actually never led in the game because the Cote d'Ivoire game at the point we were leading and it was tense.
We couldn't go and get our food.
We couldn't celebrate that.
We couldn't go and get our food at halftime because we led into halftime. We got outside and we saw hostility. Let's go and sit down.
Okay, so finally, before you go, Tunde, before we left, because we're running out of time. So who seems to be the standout player for you in this tournament? If you had to, at least a top three players for you in this tournament.
Obviously, Brahim Diaz will win it. He's Moroccan. He scored 5 goals. He made it to the final. Especially if they win the final, there's no way he will not win it. But he has not been my own standout player in the tournament. But I know that he will win it. I think that on the balance of things, Ademola Lookman has had a better tournament than him, in my opinion. Yes. I think let's even leave the attackers. I think Alvin Bassey is a player of the tournament contender. I think Alvin Bassey is ridiculously underrated and underappreciated. He's someone that I would like to see at least be nominated, just to, even though he will not win it, just nominate him just to show that you are not focused on only attackers, because this guy, his level never dropped the entire tournament.
I agree.
His level is one of the few players in the tournament that played every game at the same level. Lookman has been great, but he's had some games where he did not really, especially that's the Morocco game. Yeah. Brahim Diaz too did not do anything in the Nigeria game. Yeah. But Kevin Bassey was, in my opinion, the man of the match in that game. Mm-hmm. They gave it to Yassine Bono because he won and he saved the penalty. But Kevin Bassey should have won that award, in my opinion. Kevin Bassey has played like that for all 6 games so far. So I think that he's a player of the tournament contender, in my opinion. I don't know if they'll give it to him, I doubt it, but he should at least be nominated. So if I have to add one more person, I'll probably put Osimhen in there too, even though he didn't have a great semi-final, but he was good the rest of the tournament. 4 goals and 2 assists. So those are my picks.
So you didn't see players from other teams like the Manes, so many other players from other teams. But that's your POV. That's your POV.
Yeah, let me explain that a little bit. It's because the Senegalese team is so good that they've not really had one specific standard player. There have been games where yes, it was Mane, especially like the Egypt game, for example. Yes, it was Mane. There was also a game in the group stage. Was it against Botswana? No, not Botswana. One game in the group stage where Mane won the man of the match. So that's 2 games out of 6. There have been games where, especially the game in the round of 16 against Sudan, it was Pap Gay scored 2 goals, was a colossal midfield performance from him. There have been games where it was Nicolas Jackson. So Senegal have not really had a standout player. Senegal have a very, very good football team. Iliman Ndiaye, so that's why I've not for Egypt as well. Even though Mo Salah is Mo Salah, he will score his goals. I don't think that Mo Salah has had a great individual tournament. He will score, yes, when he gets the chance to score, but I don't think he's performed at player at the tournament level. Yeah, so that's kind of my logic in just focusing on Morocco and Nigerian players. And I think even though this is already too much. Brahim Diaz will win it. He's scored 5 goals already. He's going to win it.
Before we go back to, let me ask you guys the final. 3rd place final, but majorly the final. Senegal, Egypt. How do you think?
Morocco.
I said Senegal, Egypt, Morocco.
Let's not.
Morocco.
I'm going for Morocco. Morocco to win this one. Yeah.
Okay, Morocco to win this one.
And for Tunde, Spain is closer. Spain is closer to Morocco than Nigeria.
Okay, thank you for that advice. There's nothing to decide. It's actually not as close as has been exaggerated. To be, it's still it's several hours of canoeing and paddling to get to Spain from here, and it's not a palatable journey. If you want to do it the legal way, which I suggested, it's people have been advised against it. That most people that try that actually will most likely die before getting there. And even if you don't die, they will catch you at the border because you can't just enter Spain. So me, I'm not going to do it, but maybe if you come for WAFCON in March,
Okay, I think that's a fantastic one on the AFCON wrap. We try to manage smiles because this is where we tend to, wear off whatever it is that is weighing us down. Nigeria will be playing the third place against Egypt. However it will go, we're hoping to go with at least going with the bronze. We always call it the golden bronze. Then also, the final on Sunday, Senegal will be taking on host nation Morocco. And for a fact, as of the quarterfinals, aside Mali, they are everybody, all other 7 teams have won AFCON. These are the only 2 teams who have won one apiece. Yes, Morocco has won AFCON, Senegal has won AFCON. Who makes it 2 on the final day? That's another thing that will be a motivation. Just like the last AFCON, Nigeria had 3, Cote d'Ivoire had 2. So Cote d'Ivoire beat Nigeria equal 3. Let's move out. Let's leave there and let's go. To talking about some other sports. We're going straight to UFC, combat sport, and yes, he's returned. They say the king is returning back, and maybe we'll get back to his throne 3 years after winning. Yes, and also a year, long ago since he got into the ring. Solomon Edivri, Isreal Adesanya, last style bender, fantastic, mixed martial arts. Person, but it's not been good. Now he's returning to the ring against Pyfer. Another person are saying the opponent is a formidable one. Hope Israel is ready.
Sometimes you need a break from it. You need a break from he was on a run of wins, then went on that bad patch, and you needed a break from it, recalibrate, just take time out, take the pressure off, come and re-strategize. Maybe look at your style, look at what you and I believe Israel has done that. He came to Nigeria, was around doing a few things before going back to start practicing again. So I believe we're looking at a fresher Israel. We're looking at Israel like this who believe me, I think and I know he has learned from all the defeats, and we'll be looking at trying to relaunch his career again. And the good thing is the fact that with this one now, he wins. We're looking at a fresh start, you understand? But my fear is if he loses, it might go the other way. So, but I believe Israel will win. I believe he has the strategy, the capacity to actually take this on. And I know his mindset is totally different this time around. So it's good to see Israel back in the octagon. It's good to see Israel back in the UFC. Believe me, he's still one of the most marketable fighters in mixed martial arts. People actually still don't know. If you bring out a ticket, a fight that is involving Israel, it will sell out. Even UFC knows. So it's good to see Israel again, and hoping and believing that it goes on a win this time around.
In fact, what Solomon just said is spot on. The announcement, there are 2, top card fights on the night. They announced the one for the women, and it took 9 hours to announce Israel versus Pyfer because they needed everything to build up the tension, the expectation, keep them in suspense, because Israel Adesanya is a king in the octagon. John Ojetime, the king is returning. This man got into UFC 2018, and from 2019 all the way to 2024 thereabout, he's always been in title fights.
Israel has been that guy that brings the panache, the swag. Aside just the fact that he's a UFC fighter, there's something special about him. When it comes to the ring, you see that style bender and all that swag with the Nigerian music and all of that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Israel's entrance for me is one of the best entrances I've seen, not just in UFC, even in boxing as well.
Yeah.
In
combat sports.
In combat sport, let me just use that word. His grand entrance is usually very super. Even those that are not Nigerians, because they carry Nigeria for head. So Nigerian music, Nigerian food, Israel has always been a very good ambassador of Nigeria. In fact, even more than Joshua.
Yeah, true.
Sure, you understand. So talking about the fight itself, and that's what happened. See, even happening to coaches in football, when you've gone through a rough patch, you go on a sabbatical where you go sit, you refresh, you even go on a refresher course, you do a lot of things just to ensure that you want to come back into the game to be much more better. I think that's what Israel has done. He's gone back, just as Solomon said, to recalibrate, to see where he has gone wrong, where the mistakes he has made, how he can become better at it. And I think that him coming back, I think for me, is a very good announcement. It's also good for the sport as well. So Israel's return for me is good for the UFC itself. The brand of the UFC, much money to be made, and also the merchandise itself as a brand. So Israel is not just any UFC fighter. He's a brand. He's a great ambassador of the sport itself. So his return is, for me, super. And I hope, because sometimes I hope this return will not be a return that will send him back to retirement for life.
Some have even argued that he has outshined Conor McGregor with the kind of eyes he has put to the UFC. I think Israel has done a lot, and Dana White is always appreciative of that. March 28 is the day that we will have this fight, and we'll continue to build into that, because as a Nigerian, you want to see one of your best hands or legs or bodies get to enviable height. At the point we had Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, and then also Joshua. Three kings. He's talking about Uganda race from Cameroon. I'm talking about Nigeria. So it is what it is. We would continue to do that. And yes, it's been an amazing run. It's been a very tiring one, coming off the AFCON loss in the semi-final. But
Jen, when we are trying to prime it, we have to do ourselves like, you must do it.
We must start. But we pull through. That's what Prime Sport crew do. That's what Sports by crew do, because we don't know how to do it any other way other than put in excellence. Solomon, it's been an amazing one.
Great to be here. Great to do this, and maybe in advance, congratulations to Morocco.
Okay, General Jetunde.
Yeah, I both Solomons will congratulations to Morocco in advance. But if it happens, it's all right. That's what this is a bias actually. It's not based on any analysis.
It's not bias.
Morocco don't spend money now. It's like if you get that's exactly what you're talking about.
After my turn. After my turn, now it's now you know. It is also we had today all the way from Morocco. It's a quartet, and yesterday joined them. On the show. Yes, Babash couldn't join. Told me he's a production person. He keeps in and then keeps out, but most definitely he's also in Morocco. We're having them back. Hopefully, the next edition of this show. But if it doesn't happen, then the following one. But we're hoping the next one we'll be having the Moroccans. Yes, they don't rock Morocco first. I get there. Rabat, Casablanca, and the likes. They'll be back with us on the show. It is what it is. 8 Sports Vibe on your favorite stay. Get to join up with all of the family. Let's grow this community. All of our handles, from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube to Facebook, we are there, and we need you to be a part of the family, because there are amazing things for you to enjoy right there. Amazing programs, amazing short clips, and all of that. So let's do this, and then let's have fun together. My name is Ken Idris, Mr. Deep. So we'll see you guys again from all of us.
Yes, sir.
The production crew included with the presenters. Catch you next time.
Hi, guys.